How come you're at the show?
Good morning, Saturday morning, because I'm an ex-farmer.
An ex-farmer?
An ex-farmer, a childhood farmer.
Cowboy or cowgirl?
Cowgirl.
Cowgirl.
Welcome, friend, to Toddled In. This edition, we head off to the Pacific Agriculture Show in the community of Abbotsford at the Tradex Centre. And over 300 exhibitors brought their products under one roof. And it was just a fabulous day as we toddled in and toddled around all of the beautiful farm equipment at this year's Pacific Agriculture Show. And congratulations to the committee for getting the show organized so quickly and back on track. So let's dive right in and enjoy this year's show. At the show this year, there were over 300 exhibitors, including, and these are 300 exhibitors from the agricultural community's leading manufacturers, and from John Deere, JCB, Bobcat, Kubota, Case International with their big, beautiful red tractors.
Just like the vegetable.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's too early in the morning to have vegetables. I'm having my coffee.
This is true. Vegetables and coffee, but vegetables
So they
and
just
smoothies.
grow on the,
On what we make is the hydroponic growing medium. So actually, you can lift it out.
Oh, okay.
And so it makes no mess if you store it in your fridge. Makes no mess on your counter.
So you just cut it off?
You can cut it, yeah, you can take it off. It also makes it nice and easy for harvesting. So you're taking it out and you can just cut them off.
Oh. Interesting.
It was just an absolutely gorgeous show, whether you were into raising and growing plants, to poultry, to cattle. Agriculture of all industries were represented at this year's show. Agriculture from every category, whether it was stock farming, horses, you name it. It was at this show. It's just a beautiful show this year. And again, I'd like to thank committee. I'm not sure who's all on that committee, but they did a fabulous job in organizing this show under very tough conditions. But we enjoyed wandering around up and down the aisles, meeting the vendors, talking to some of them, and just learning a lot of what the farming community goes through and the type of equipment that they use in making their farms very successful.
So we are at the Farms in BC Real Estate Group booth with
Jay. Yeah.
So tell me what you do, Jay. What's the purpose? You mentioned you're based in Cloverdale.
Yeah, so our office is actually out of Cloverdale. We obviously operate between Vancouver and Hope, mostly southern BC primarily. Hopefully we do have someone out in the island at some point, but at this time we're just doing Vancouver to Hope. Me personally, I do Abbotsford, Mission, and Chilliwack, and my partners do everything west of Aldergrove. And what we do is we sell farms and we buy farms from folks. Obviously, we're a real estate company, but we do help with leases and stuff like that, and providing sources for whatever farmers need, right?
So can I ask you a question? It's going to be kind of a loosely based question.
Yeah.
Because we both have farming backgrounds, and we often get asked questions from our family and friends in other parts of Canada.
Right.
What's the average price of an acre in the lower mainland, including the Fraser Valley? Fraser Valley to Chilliwack, Cloverdale, Langley. Of course, Cloverdale is such a rich area. Right. Is there an average?
You know what's interesting is FCC over there, they actually created a report from last year, and it was really amazing because they were showing that 33% was the rise over last year in farm value, which is tremendous. It's probably the biggest raise we've seen in a while.
So what would that put the average price?
Yeah.
Let's say in Cloverdale, that dark loam soil.
You know, they're actually saying it was around 200,000 an acre, right? And that was like, but if you take out all the outliers, it's probably closer to 135, 145,000. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And
without the outliers.
Would that apply for the Abbotsford market as well?
Yeah, it's actually funny because it's all kind of leveled out now. You're even finding folks in Vancouver buying in like Hope, and it's kind of all leveled out. Obviously, Hope is still cheaper, but even in Abbotsford, it's kind of in the middle ground. and you're still finding that 135, 145,000 is almost a given, almost.
So why should a farmer consider listing or purchasing from you folks? What's your advantage?
We are a team, so the difference is we're not one realtor or two realtors. We're actually 4 realtors that operate for one client.
Oh.
So we actually spread out between Vancouver to Hope. So it's a little bit different. We are in a team dynamic. So huge advantage. You got 4 guys working for you, right?
So where are most of the buyers coming from?
Oh, honestly, it's a lot of. I want to say international, but it's actually a lot of folks that have settled into mostly the western side of BC, like Vancouver to Surrey Delta, and they're kind of shifting more to the east. They're selling high and buying high, but at the end of the day, it's kind of raising the prices on this side, right? And I've seen a lot of folks go from Abbotsford, Chilliwack, out to even Calgary, and like farther.
Wow.
Right, so it's a little bit tough right now to afford, but the folks that have farms and they're selling, they're able to buy somewhere else, right?
So $20,000 an acre.
200,000, yeah.
200,000 an acre, sorry.
At the high end, yeah.
So a 50-acre farm.
Right.
That's an arm and a leg, and
it is, and everything else.
you walk across the aisle over here,
right?
And you talk to those folks.
Yes.
About a loan at a really good rate. Yeah.
It's you know what it is. Right now, rates have gone up. It's almost in the 4.55% ranges,
wow.
And I feel like that's going to bring the trend down for prices. I think that's going to help a lot, but at the same time, it's tough. It is tough. I mean, when it's up in that range, and those are outliers still, but when those hit, it's hard to sell, but somehow they sell.
So when you say outliers, what's the definition of
I would
an outlier?
say it's not the majority. Like the majority isn't 200,000 an acre, especially in the bigger pieces.
Right.
Maybe in the smaller pieces, you even see 5 acres go for 2.5, 3 million, right? Which is kind of almost common at this point in time for 5 acres. But a 5-acre farm isn't really a farm at this point. It's more of a hobby farm.
Absolutely.
It's more of a residential farm, right?
Right.
And for those folks, a lot of people want their space now, and they're willing to pay for it.
So how can someone get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So always farmsinbc.com. You can actually reach out to us on our website. Obviously, I'm the guy for Abbotsford to Hope, and my partners will take over everything west of me. But that's the best way on the website.
Thanks, Jay.
Very nice meeting you guys.
Thank you kindly.
The Bobcat would have been the dream of this young man as he was shoveling out pens, cattle pens back in the 60s on our beautiful farm near Denfield, Ontario, not very far from London, Ontario, north of Denfield. And it was the pitchfork. And the manure spreader used to be parked outside the barn window, and we'd pitch it out there. Today I enjoy watching YouTube videos on farming, and the Bobcat plays a major role in cleaning the barn and keeping the pens and the alleys clean, amongst a multitude of other chores that wonderful machine does. Then of course it loads it up into a big white manure spreader like that and spreads it out all over the field. Gone are the days of the Farmall Super M and the Little A and an international manure spreader, which would take us maybe 4 or 5 days to clean out 7 or 8 pens, fairly large pens. But that's one of the other advantages to attending a show like this. If you've got farming in your background or you're a current farmer, you want to stay up with the trends. What's new in technology? Of course, the horsepower in tractors has gotten bigger. Tractors with 500-600 horsepower, capable of doing large acreages to small little units like that white Bobcat that we saw.
I'm with Mark Vanderwall, and their retail location is located in Maple Ridge.
Maple Ridge, yeah.
But your family's been there for a long time.
We went there in '57.
And was your dad always a Massey dealer?
No. We started as a Ford dealer, and then we progressed into an Agco dealer, which became a Challenger dealer, now is a Massey Ferguson dealer.
So I asked you earlier, how's business?
I have no complaints. Like we work hard every day, and the more you put out, the better you get back, right?
But you did say inventory is hard to get, and you gave me an example of one small piece on a disc, one of the simplest pieces of farming equipment there is. What is that piece,
Just
Mark?
a disc pan. Like they're just a disc pan. You can't get them, right? So it's just, so without that, you can't build a disc.
Now, what about the supply of new Massey tractors at it's still Vanderwall equipment?
Yeah.
So what about the supply of new Massey tractors and equipment? Are you having any issues with that?
Yeah, it's hard to get them. If you order a tractor now, you're waiting about a year.
That's almost like the automotive industry.
Yeah, we're the same business.
If you order a new Chevy or a new Ford, it's about a year.
Yep.
And the agricultural equipment is very similar to that.
They
Wow.
run motors, transmissions, and all. Like we have fancy seats and fancy cabs, and it's all computerized, so it's all working the same, out of the same, household sort of thing, right?
So has Massey introduced anything new this year, Mark?
Well, so this is a 7716, so now they are coming out with a new model 7S. So that's going to come out next year. So this is the end of this era sort of thing, right? So
What will be the difference between the new model versus...
it's all comfort cab. Like the cab will have more comfort in it and stuff like that there. The cab will be totally separate from the tractor and sit on its own, supports, and yeah.
Your son mentioned that today's farmer is spoiled. When you look at a cab like that,
We're just comparing it to your day.
your son hit the tack on the head. When you look at the air conditioning, the stereo equipment, the communication that's in that cab, all of the satellite equipment that you can put in that cab, do you see the farmer still sitting behind the wheel of that tractor in 10 years, or will it be all operated by...
It'll be all, computer operated, and yeah, there'll be no operators. Around here it's different, but if you get prairie farmers where they have the big fields and that where you can drive for half hour straight or an hour straight without having to turn, it'll all be computerized. Right,
So why should I do business with Vanderwall equipment? What's the competitive advantage that you have over the other agricultural dealers in the Lower Mainland?
That's a good question. I think we're more personable. If you come to me, I probably will know you, and then we're not as big as some of the other guys, so we keep it a little closer to home, because there's myself, and I have 2 sons and 1 grandson, and then we have 10 other employees. So that's where we are, right? So it's just,
Well, I think the other thing that's important is your family has a huge history in agriculture around the Lower Mainland.
Yeah, we've been here, like my dad, it all comes from him. He started in '57, and I sort of started with him in '71 after I graduated from high school. So I've been there 51 years already, right? So it's just, I'm 68, so yeah.
You're not far behind me. So Massey is the only line you carry at Vanderwall equipment?
Yeah, tractor-wise.
Tractor-wise.
We have about 20 different lines. So we do the Wiedemans, the Brilliant, the Sunflower, Bunning Spreaders. We do,
Okay.
So we do a lot.
Hey, Mark, thank you kindly.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank
take
you.
care.
So as Mark mentioned, the amenities, the creature comforts, and that beautiful cab on that Massey tractor are one of the big reasons many farmers enjoy working out in the field 10, 12, 8 hours a day. You've got everything but the microwave oven in that cab, in that tractor. I have a saying, too much horsepower is just right. And when it comes to the agricultural business, too much horsepower gets the job done. And in my opinion, too much horsepower is just right. So with all of the technology aboard the tractors, I was surprised to hear Mark say that they're even having difficulties in getting stock and inventory due to what's been happening in the global situation in the past couple of years. Computer chips have been the biggest problem. Although I hear with the new car dealers, it's the computer chip that controls the climate on your seat, whether it's air-conditioned seat or whether the seat is heated. Not so much the performance of the engine and everything else, but it's some of the creature comforts that the computer controls that they're having difficulties with. But today's farmer, they demand the best, and the manufacturers that were at the Pacific Agriculture Show showed some of the best that is available to farmers in the Fraser Valley and the Lower Mainland British Columbia, and of course throughout the province as well. Just a beautiful show, just a beautiful display of all of this gorgeous equipment to make farming more profitable, a lot easier, and in my opinion, a lot more fun.
12-foot leg. That gives you a center clearance of 14'6" to there. Right there you'll have 13'6". Anything road legal will fit underneath there. You get 12 colors to choose from, so we can change the color on the roof to a gray. Or let's just say you want a nice red on there, whatever you want. So there's 12 colors to choose from.
Wow.
If you said you want some more side coverage, you can add one sheet to the left or right, one sheet to the left. You can go all the way down. You can kind of do whatever you want.
What's the most popular model when you're looking at this? Is it complete sides down or do...
It's 50-50 to be honest. A lot of clients will actually do one sheet down for sure, just to stop some of the side wind and the side rain. So if I just grab one now this isn't, there you go. If I would go one sheet down on either side, that's going to stop your side wind and your side rain. I'll just make this look a little prettier for you. There you go. So then you can...
Oh wow,
right?
Nice.
So I'll give you a quick number on that as well.
Okay, so again, how wide is this one?
This is a 12 by 32, or 12 wide.
12 wide, so you could put the slide out partially then.
Partially. We do 2-foot increments for our width, so you can do a 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, all the way up to what we're under here, which is a 22 wide. That's the widest we manufacture. 32. So your cost for this exact unit, as shown with the 2 extra side sheets, would be $55.25.
That's pretty reasonable.
For a full steel structure.
Can you show that price again?
Yeah.
Was Peter?
Wes.
Sorry, Wes.
That's all good. $55.25 plus tax. There's no hidden fees. I'll quickly show you one neat thing here.
Well, I was going to ask him about that.
So here's your base rail.
This is what sits on the concrete pad.
On the concrete. 7-inch concrete wedge anchor. Drill it in, anchor that down. Your posts then come, and they're going to slide right over top like that. One screw does the whole job. Self-tapping neoprene washer.
That's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Sure.
So what's the name of your business, and where are you, and what's your contact information?
Jaw Portable Buildings. We're located in Chilliwack. Our address is 45787 in Chilliwack. Our contact number is 604-799-8282.
Thank you, Wes. So if you're looking to cover your RV for outside storage, but you don't want to put up a really expensive building or a big carport, give jawportablebuildings.com a visit. J-A-W, portablebuildings.com. A visit on the internet and ask for Wes, and they'll gladly put a quote together for you. And we're looking at getting the reflection covered for next fall and winter to protect it from the elements outdoors. Back to the show.
You get over there with her. You get over there with her, okay?
It's a video camera.
Just keep it going?
Yeah, just keep her going.
All right. Oh, sorry. This young couple just got engaged. They just met 2 days ago in the barn.
Thanks to the hayloft.
And now they're in the hayloft, getting ready to go to the hayloft. They're taking a Jack Daniels and staying warm.
So tell me about your business.
Okay, how about the business?
Oh,
We're not in the monkey
heat off
business,
that.
we're in the heating business, okay? First of all, it's carbon infrared heat, okay? Comes with a remote control. So now I'm sitting at level 3, which is your max. That uses 1500 watts and 12.5 amps. I can turn right down to level 1. Now you're only using 500 watts and 4 amps, okay? And if you want to hang this on the ceiling, sir, you can do that just by a couple of new brackets we give you. Use it on the wall as well, okay? You can see that, turns back and forth. Any kind of arthritic pain in the house, you can stand there. It's really good for arthritis because it's infrared heat, which gets deep into the muscle tissue and brings the blood to the surface. And it only weighs 5 pounds, so you can move this around. And it comes in a box with the stand, and it's only special price for you, sir. Senior special, $300 plus your tax. And just to let you know, we don't charge tax, we just collect it.
Oh, that's a great office desk. Look at this.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Recyclable.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's not new.
After wandering around the morning, the Saturday morning, for about 2.5 hours, we were getting a little bit hungry, and outside of the Tradex, they had a bit of a food courtyard with food trucks, truck vendors, and we decided to grab a quick bite and take in the rest of the show and stop by the little petting zoo by Alder Acres. I believe at one time he was a veterinarian in Langley and has put up a bit of a hobby farm on the east side of Fort Langley in a little area called Glen Valley. But he brings out his stock, and the kids love it, and moms love it, and it's a nice break from looking at all of the farm equipment. But we thoroughly enjoyed our visit to the Pacific Agriculture Show, and we love toddling in and toddling around and taking in all the sights. And as I mentioned earlier, I think it's our farming background more than anything that keeps us interested in what's going on in the agriculture community. So if you're ever in the Lower Mainland, late March, the first part of April, and you'll love farming and you'll love farming equipment, be sure to take in the Pacific Agriculture Show, and I know you'll thoroughly enjoy it. Lots of great RV parks around the Lower Mainland, and you'll have plenty of selection in finding a place to park for a few days or a week. city of Abbotsford, British Columbia, just south of Vancouver, out in the Fraser Valley. Eileen and I thoroughly enjoyed the show. We love talking to some of the vendors and meeting up with friends and talking about farming and generally where the farming community is going. Farming, like everything else, constantly changes. Farmers are looking for new and improved ways of farming, and the food that we rely on as a nation and as a country and a world all comes from good farming practices, safe farming practices, and you really get that sense when you're talking to some of the participants and vendors at the Pacific Agriculture Show. So thank you very much. If you've liked this video, a thumbs up. And if you're new to Toddled In, we truly thank you for joining us on our visit to the Pacific Agriculture Show in Abbotsford, British Columbia.